What is rejection? Rejection is simply the denial of a proposal or an idea. It's simply that idea that happened to the best of us, me included as well. I have some story where I was rejected very harshly. So in today's video, I'm going to actually help you on how you can actually confront the fear of rejection. Because always remember that just because you are rejected doesn't mean you're a reject. You know what I mean? So let's get into it. The first tip is desensitize yourself to rejection. What this simply means is that let's put ourselves in situations where it's more easy to get rejected, because the more we face it, the more it seems less intimidating. Because if you have never been rejected before, the first time you're going to put yourself in such a situation is going to be very hard. So we have to put ourselves in a situation where it's very easy to be rejected, or it's easy for rejection to happen, or it's more likely for us to be rejected. For example, you can see a girl at a mall, or maybe it's different for women, but let's just say you see a girl at the mall and you want to approach her and get her numbers. You can just go to her and talk to her a little bit and actually ask for her numbers. Now at that point, you know that there are chances of her saying, no, I do not want to give you my number. But you are facing, the important matter is you are facing it. You are facing that rejection and you don't take it personally. Which leads us to my next tip, is to do not take rejection personally. Just because you were rejected doesn't mean you're a reject. It doesn't mean your life is over. It doesn't mean the world is falling apart. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It just simply means you wanted to do something, you wanted to propose an idea or a persuasion of something, but it was just rejected. It as simply as that. It doesn't mean you're a reject, doesn't mean you're a failure, it doesn't mean anything. Rejection doesn't define you. Instead, we should view it as a stepping stone to success and actually note down what we can do better next time. That's what we can do when we face rejection. We can see what we can do better this next time. Maybe when you approach that girl, you approached her in a very harsh way and it made her uncomfortable. Then you know that next time you can approach another girl in a much calmer way, so that the chances of you being rejected are less. But you have to face it at the end of the day. Maybe you want to propose that idea maybe you want to ask your boss for a raise. Maybe you want to ask your partner about a certain idea or a certain initiative. But one thing you must always know is that sitting with an idea and doing nothing about it is just an idea. It doesn't matter because you haven't spoken to anyone about it. So sometimes we reject ourselves before we are even rejected in the first place. So always remember that. The third thing you can do in order to minimize the fear of rejection is to focus on what you can control. We can't control other people's responses and feedbacks. We can't control other people's reactions to things. We can't control other people's emotions. But what we can control is our effort and our due diligence on how we actually do things. That's what we can control. Instead of focusing on how is that person gonna treat me, how is that person gonna react to this, we can actually focus on, okay, what I can control is my approach towards that thing, towards that initiative, towards that idea. That's what I can control. So focusing on what we can control reduces the fear of rejection. The fourth thing you can do in order to reduce the fear of rejection is to surround yourself with positive and supportive people. I'm always talking on the power of the environment and how it really affects our well-being as people and how it affects our mindsets and how we think about things. So surrounding yourself with positive people can help you reduce your fear of rejection, as they can push you to take action on whatever you want to do and are afraid of being rejected, because they're there to support you and they're there to uplift you. If you're always questioning your circle and the people around you, I once did a video on questioning your circle. It's right here. I will link it in the description below on what to watch next. And as I go deeper into the information and the topic of the people that are surrounding us and our environment and our circle of the fifth thing we can do in order to challenge the fear of rejection is to challenge negative thoughts. How we think affects how we do things, and how we do things affects our outcome. But remember, you must always focus on what we can control, and we are in control of how we think. No matter what society tells you, no matter what social media tells you, we are totally 100% responsible of what we think. Sometimes the fear of rejection often stems from the thinking of, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe they won't like me, what will they say about me? Again, focusing on things that we can't control, their reaction, their feedback towards you, can't control that. So basically thinking negatively in this sense of fearing the rejection is basically useless, because it will only hinder you and stopping you from greater opportunities in life. How do you know that you are not worth enough? How do you know that you are not good enough? How do you know that they won't like you? How will you don't even know what they will say. You don't even know their response yet, because you haven't taken action towards what you wanted to do, because you're afraid of being rejected. Just because you're rejected doesn't mean you're a reject. View that rejection as a stepping stone towards success and actually learn something from it. That's better than actually sitting there and actually doing nothing and keeping it all in your head and doing nothing about it. Because now you'll never know. And what comes about that? Regret. And what comes with regret? Knowing that you didn't finish, knowing that you didn't do anything. Because regret is something that lasts forever. So just sitting there and wondering whether they will like me or not, whether I'm good enough. You are good enough. You are good. There's no such thing as I am not good enough. You are good enough. The fact that you are you, the fact that there's no one else like you on earth, that makes you good enough. There is no excuses to it. So you should just take action towards it and just do that and just propose that idea. Just approach that girl. Just approach your boss. Just clear your mind onto someone about a certain thing. It's not the end of the world. It's not that they're gonna kill you. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid. Just do it anyway. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? The worst is that they will reject you, but then you would have learned something from it. That's the beautiful thing that comes out of rejection. You learn something from it. Simple as that. Instead of now living with regret of not doing anything. You choose learning something because of you are rejected, or having regret. You choose. It's your choice. But that's how you basically eliminate the fear of rejection. Just because you're rejected doesn't mean you're a reject. Always remember that. Don't forget to like, share this video and subscribe to the channel, and share this video to someone that might find this video helpful, as it helps the algorithm. And I want to say thank you guys for 100 subscribers. I am always grateful. Let's get to this road to 1,000 subscribers. I would really appreciate it, guys. I would really appreciate it. It would mean the world to me that I actually able to impact people's lives about certain topics that I preach about, which is basically personal development on this YouTube channel. If you want to see more of a deep dive in my life and everything, that's if you really care, by the way. I actually have a journal channel, a vlog channel rather, which is called LET Journals. It's also in the link below, and it's also in my channel home feed, so it's easily accessible. So with that being said, I will see you in this video.
Took her from my heart, I barely give her.